Alright,
Yeah, more.
so go down here. Okay, so done. These are the most recent ones I had, so I'll just go down based on like the newest one, okay? So this one
Gotcha.
was basically a lore-based match within the Yu-Gi-Oh card lore, which I didn't pick off until immediately, like, oh shit, these are the guys that the S-Force goes against within their own universe lore, which is pretty fucking sick. Now this one, this game in particular, since I never played against Time Thieves at all, I had no idea what I was dealing with here. So pretty much, I had to play this. I had to play this very carefully because I was not familiar with how the interactions for certain cards were. So a lot of this duel ended up me running low on time because I had to think very carefully on how some of my cards interact with what my opponent does. And with the way the S-Force monsters work in particular, you don't always want to go for their extra deck monster because you want to prep for something else. But like right here, this is after I had modified this deck again to adjust for a better opening play with how each of the cards interact with each other. Now, you're gonna see a very funny interaction here, which I legit had to fucking pause and laugh with how dumb this is of what this guy does. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I think in the next two cards, I think. I get on this move, I knew it because I was worried about him bringing out Redoer and Redoer being a problem. But I did not expect this to happen, though. Take this effect. I pop S-Force Chase here to get rid of his two monsters he just special summoned to prevent the Exceed summon. And watch this. This dude uses two Forbidden Lances to save... Oh my god, Dave. Here is two Forbidden Lance. I want you to understand. Forbidden Lands allows you to target a face monster on the field. Until the end of the turn, that target loses 8 attack, but is unaffected by the effects of other spells and traps. Now, if you're thinking like any normal person, a Forbidden Lance usually has two purposes. It is to do either an attack reduction, to save you from, like, say, your opponent's monster attacks into you, or it's in response to another effect. It's in response to being able to, like, say, either protect yourself from one of your own cards, or, like say you activate a Dark Hole, but you activate the Lance to protect your monster to be able to attack for game, or another card combination. But with the way this dude, if you understand, Forbidden Lance, if I remember correctly, is limited to 3. I think it's limited to 2 or 3. But either way, this guy wastes 2 Forbidden Lance for this monster.
I'll be on it here.
I kid you not. He gave up. He gave up both of his protection for this. And it's just so funny. It's so fucking funny. Alright, now, I think off this move, I do activate I believe I activate Rappa's effect. I believe I activate Rappa's effect off here to banish S-Force Chase. He uses Redoer in response, which also removes the material. I banish my S-Force Chase to get another monster out, which I grab my Gravitino to call another card out of the deck, which is another S-Force Chase, which is so fucking funny. No. This interaction here, I had to really think carefully on what I could do to this person. I had to think very carefully of what I could do here. And so I saw he was prepping for something else here, but the priority here was to get rid of Redoer. That was the priority, because once he loses Redoer, the game is over, pretty much, because the Time Thieves don't have all of the support yet in this game, since it's tied to a skill, so you're kind of limited on what you can do. I go for a link play right here. And you already know, I bring out the ace monster. Justify. Now here is a very interesting response that this guy has. Of course, I go ahead and summon Chimera, so I can activate Chimera's effect. I believe I go Lapras. Yeah, I go Lapras here. I can activate Lapras effects, which I call Palutena back, I believe, yes, for the reduction. And I forced him to activate Redua's effect, which, because he only had a monster on there, he has his monster bounce back. I get the reduction, I get Palutena to activate her effect, which costs Shenmue back. Now this was unexpected. Now Dick, I want you to understand. The effective Book of Eclipse basically flips every monster on the field into a reverse position. Okay?
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'll join you in just a minute, Burp. I just wanted to show you these two games in particular, because I know they'd put a smile on his face.
No, I know.
But with the effect of Book of Eclipse, it flips every monster on the board face down. Now, if you pay attention to the second half of the effect of the card, during the end phase, when every monster was flipped face down, it's flipped face back up. Your opponent draws cards equal to the number of cards flipped face up by this effect. Now, if you read this carefully, Tanked, if your opponent has a full board, and in the monster they have here in the extra link zone is like that of a Xyz, a Synchro, or a Fusion, you basically make your opponent draw 4 cards. Now, if you think big brain on this Dank, if you activate 2 of these, eclipses, because if I remember correctly, Book of Eclipse doesn't say anything about a once per turn. So if you activate 2 of these effects, you can forcibly get your opponent to deck out. That is how busted this can get if played correctly. And I've actually been thinking of trying to incorporate something like this for just a jank strategy like this, but the strategy of this is so terrifying if not played correctly, because this is very threatening to a deck that runs a standard 20-card deck. This could be very terrifying. But of course, because that's a Link monster cannot be flipped, so that was my one saving grace. But in turn, it allowed me to use Justify's ability to go ahead and attack into it and banish it, but doing no damage that turn. But you see how this made me draw 3 extra cards, and it's 6 cards now. If he had activated 2 of this, if my math is correct,
you're fine.
He would have made me have about 2 cards left in my deck. And all he would have had to do was stall out for 2 turns. That's how fucking terrifying this can be. Okay? So there was a lot of really hard thinking in this game, because I was running down the clock, because I had to think carefully on what exactly my cards do. And I negate Theifs effect. But I forget what the second ability of... Speed to handle. Board wipe. But thankfully I come back for this on my next... But thankfully I come back from this on my next turn. Because the way the interaction works, because he goes for another negate here, yep, this one. Because Renegade was when a speller is activated on a Time Thief monster to get the activation, if you do attach that card to the Time Thief as material, and in turn, that you pay attention to redo his effect. When he gets a trap card, he places the top card the opponent controls to the top of the deck, which would be really good. Now, if you remember, I used Justify to negate his effect, so he can't use the trap ability that turn, or at least at that point in time, which was very smart on my turn. So he couldn't take advantage of that. But he still gets the negate, but he still gets the card. But he can't activate Redua's ability to counteract me. And he goes for another Xyz. I think he goes for, what was it? Magical Musket, I believe? Musketeer, yeah. Now, Musketeer's ability is a detachment face down.
And I'm back.
What face of pardon? Yeah. Oh, you're all. Oh, damn it, Dink. But anyway.
Yeah, the whole time she's been trying to fucking explain this to you. I've been waiting for her to be done.
She said.
Oh my god, Dink.
He said he'll be right
so,
back. Hold
what
that thought.
I didn't hear him. Dank is so quiet. I don't hear him half the time. Anyway, Dank, you're just gonna have to watch the video when I'm done reporting it, okay? But when this ability activates, pretty much it shuffles one card in the deck. Now, if you pay attention to this, he goes for using my X-Link monster. It says it's straight back, but he can't use she can't use Deathify's ability or use Time Thief's ability because of this. And I still get the effect of my field spell protecting me and saving me for the next turn. Now, and as of course he uses it and uses the cat, and then I pretty much use Slapless's effect to destroy his entire board. When she then activates this effect, and I go for another. Then I go for another Link 3, which is another Justify. Gotta like some of that. And then use the effect to negate it. And then just in case, I use my showdown to call out a monster in the field, which I then do my normal summon, which Razor calls out Laplace effect and calls out another monster out of the graveyard, which I call Palatina again. Now as a result, I activate Justify's ability to banish while on attack, so the effects won't activate. And then I go for game here. Here. And I go with the ripped attack. And that's game. And that's how I won that one. I'll show you the other one after we play some games with Bird, okay?
Got you.
And you can exit out of. Or is your game still going, Bird?
No, we're not.
Because I know I can be very long-winded. Oh, okay.
That's okay.
And I'm gonna put this on hold and I'll show you what's there, and then I'll show you the other ones after, okay? If you're still awake. I hope you are, though. But that one, this one made me really think on how to deal with it.